Hello guys and welcome to my predictions for IEM Katowice 2017. I'm here by myself and it's pretty late at night because I even forgot that this was going on. And then I remembered that it was a bigger tournament and I usually do these for bigger tournaments. So if I sound kind of out of it and I don't really make that much like predictions, I'm sorry. I'll be back tomorrow for sure for the second group with a lot better quality video. But Um, the Group A today is NIP Fnatic, Optic Astralis, and FaZe Immortals. As you can see, it's a 12-team tournament, which is not usual. So they're doing two groups of six, I believe. And basically, in the group stages, everyone's playing each other. So NIP, as you can see here, just as an example, NIP is playing Fnatic here, Astralis here, FaZe here, Immortals here, and Optic here. So every team's playing each other in one day. So teams will be playing 5 games today or tomorrow, I mean. And they're all best of ones. So this is going to be very unpredictable. Lots of upset potential, and I think um I'm not going to personally bet, at least not today. But I see there's some decent games today that I definitely think are good. First game of the day, not a good game, especially with the percent like 60 to 40 for Fnatic. I see that's kind of what this game is, maybe even a 65-35 for Fnatic. But with Inferno and stuff like that in the map pool, I think NIP can do good things. It's just that their percents have to be really low. So if NIP's percents are good enough and you feel like it, because NIP definitely have a good chance, but if the percents are good enough, I'd drop a small bet, or even a really small bet on NIP. Optic versus Astralis, I have no idea why the percents are so skewed. Optic and Astralis always have really good games. Even though Optic is still going through that weird stage with Hiko joining and stuff like that, I definitely think that Optic's a team that can beat Astralis, especially with Astralis going to all these big tournaments and really showing up. I feel like they're gonna have a crash at one of these next couple big tournaments, and it could be this one. So I definitely drop a small bet on Optic, especially with percents like this. The payout could be really good. NIP Astralis, the same exact thing. NIP is a team that can come up whenever they want to, just like Optic. Um, I feel like NIP might do really well at this tournament. I'm not sure though. Like I feel like NIP is gonna explode at one of these next couple major tournaments, and I feel like Astralis is gonna crumble. And I'm not sure which one's gonna happen, or maybe even both. But I definitely think that if the percent, just like the NIP Fnatic game, if the percentages are a little bit lower for NIP, you can definitely drop a bet on them. FaZe versus Immortals. I think FaZe will be playing with Nico. Yes, they will. So although it is like, oh, FaZe has a new player, I don't think that that's gonna affect them too much when it's a player like Nico, because no matter what position they FaZe end up putting him, for the most part, I'd say he's gonna have good games anyways, because that's the kind of player he is. You can put him anywhere you want, and he'll at least get you a frag or two. So I don't think that you can say because he's gonna be the one holding the team back, basically. If they lose, it's not gonna be Nico's fault, in my opinion. He's not gonna be the one that's making them lose. And Immortals are so good in best of ones. Um, just their explosive play that they can like completely take over maps. Um, yeah, I definitely think that if this goes on to a train or a mirage or something like that, um, a cache train, excuse me, train mirage cache, definitely Immortals have a decent chance of upsetting. Um, so yeah, I think that Immortals have a decent chance here. I'd say if the percents are like this, it's not worth it. If the percents are a little bit lower for Immortals, which I feel like they could go a little bit lower for Immortals on some sites and stuff like that. So if you feel the if you see the bet and it's like, man, that's juicy, definitely drop a small bet on Immortals here. Optic Immortals, I don't know. It's a 50-50 to be honest. I don't really know how either of these teams like they're in the same region, so they could be playing each other a lot. Um and sorry, even if they're not playing each other a lot, they have played each other a lot. Like look at how many matches they have compared to other. Like, if you saw the Immortals phase game, they've played like 4 games against each other. Well, these teams have played 18 in the past, whatever. So, like, they play a lot more. They know each other a lot more. I'd say that their skill sets are pretty equal, maybe favoring Optic a little bit. But with the Hiko and everything else, I feel like this game is pretty much a 50-50, and I definitely stay away from it. FaZe Fnatic, I feel like it's kind of a 50-50. I'd even give it a 55-45 for FaZe, and I feel like on a lot of websites, FaZe could possibly have a low percent here. Let me check bets.gg real quick to just kind of check out their percentages as well. Um, Match betting. I don't think that most of these games are not gonna have a lot of money on them actually, so I don't think that that's a solid idea. But for FaZe Fnatic, um, I definitely think that FaZe have a slight upper hand. Um, Usually Fnatic's the team where it's like, oh, they have better firepower and everything. But if you're going up against a team like FaZe with Kerrigan, I feel like FaZe are a really strong team. I feel like FaZe are a really strong team. Old Fnatic, you're like, oh, they got Olaf, JW, Dennis, Flusha, Crims. They all have so much high firepower. Well, now you have Nico, Rain, Alu. Kiyoshima is really stepping up, and I mean Kerrigan's not the best fragger whatsoever, but with his leading and stuff like that, I feel like Fnatic doesn't have exactly one of those yet. You know what I mean? A solid one of those. He hasn't had one of those. Fnatic has not had a solid leader in a long time since Pronax and stuff like that, and I feel like that's why they've been falling apart. Um, so I feel like FaZe will have lower percents on most sites, and that would influence me to go on them. Optic Fnatic, I feel like Optic can definitely pull off an upset here. I feel like Fnatic aren't a strong team at the moment. I mean, they're a really strong team, but like as in aiming wise, but I feel like they're not like a team that's gonna like be make be making like quarterfinals and things like that at tournaments like they used to. I feel like they might have to start realizing that firepower can't get them anywhere the way the game's advancing so rapidly. So I definitely think that Optic has a good chance here with Hiko and everything else helping. Astralis Immortals, I definitely feel like Immortals have a good upset potential. As I'm saying, any game that Immortals has low percents on, a bet is definitely recommended. A smaller bet is definitely recommended because they're so good in best of ones. Like I said, they can just control a map and stuff like that. And best of threes, that's different, but since it's all best of ones, you don't really care about that at the moment. Best of ones, definitely a small bet on Immortal. Immortals can beat Astralis on Cash, on Train, and stuff like that if some of those maps get through. Maybe, I'd say Cobblestone, yeah. Um, Astralis Fnatic, I'd say Astralis are decent favorites here. I mean, back in the day, Fnatic, for the most part, beat Astralis. Um, So I think that if the percents go much lower for Fnatic, that a small bet on Fnatic is okay. NIP phase, I don't know. I wouldn't go on this game. I don't feel like going on games against NIP right now. I don't know why, but I have this gut feeling that NIP are gonna go off this tournament. I'm not sure. So if it were me, I would not bet on anything against NIP. But to each their own. I'm just kind of putting it out there. You know what I mean? NIP Immortals, again, I wouldn't bet on or against NIP in this game. It's a 50-50, really, these two games. Um, I don't see any money to be made in either of these games. Just a 50-50 risk if you want to double your money or not, and I don't advise that. Um, Optic Phase. You have um I feel like Phase are pretty um have a little bit of a upper hand against Optic. So I definitely say that if it's a 60-40, maybe a small to medium bet on Phase, but I don't personally prefer on betting on overdogs, but if you wanted to, I'd say that a small to medium bet on Phase is an okay idea. Immortals Fnatic, definitely Immortals have lower percent. Um, they are upset potential gods with best of ones and everything else. And like I said, Fnatic is a good team and all, but I feel like they don't deserve this much percent on Immortals at this time at least. And FaZe Astralis, I don't know why Astralis. I feel like I feel like Astralis will have a higher percent than this. And if it is a 60-40 for Astralis, if it's a 60-40 for Strauss, I'd say drop like a small bet on FaZe. And if it starts getting like lower and lower percents for FaZe, I'd start dropping a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger bets on FaZe because I feel like the potential is really there. Um, and I feel like this could be a really big payout of the day if the percents are lower for FaZe. So, I definitely think that a small bet on FaZe is advised here. And if the percents go lower and lower, man, that's just more money for the upset. And then for the last game, it is Optic versus Nip, and I had said I wouldn't really go on or against Nip for these last couple of games. See, Optic Nip is about a 50-50. NIP Immortals is about a 50-50, and then Nip FaZe is about a 50-50. But when you scroll up to the Nip Astralis and the Nip Fnatic games, they have decent chance for upset potential there. So I'd say go on those. But the other three Nip games, stay away. So that is pretty much it for today. I tried to do this quick. My throat's out of it. I'm out of it. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. But that's just my quick little. I just looked at the games and that's what came into my head. So yeah, peace.